We do have some breaking news this hour on the Hillary Clinton email investigation. The FBI just releasing a report with some information about how they determined whether or not to charge Hillary Clinton over having her own server and her own email while Secretary of State. There's a lot of questions about their investigation. They chose to put out some of these documents. They just hit online a matter of about 10 minutes ago. So this is some brand new information on this story. Howard Kurtz is a Fox News media analyst and host of Media Buzz. And I'm just going to read a few of the headlines that are coming across by way of Reuters, Howie, because we're just getting these emails right now. I should say emails. What the FBI is describing about their investigation with Hillary Clinton. Here's two headlines by way of Reuters that I think are interesting for our viewers. Apparently, Hillary Clinton told the FBI she could not give an example of how classification of a document was determined. Clinton told the FBI she could not recall any training on handling classified information in federal records. These are just two headlines. Of course, there's been a big question about whether or not she had classified material, which we now know she did, on her private email and on her server. So the question that becomes as we take in this new information, you know, how does the media, just like voters, how do we continue to keep a fresh eye on a story that's really been out there for everyone to see for months and months and months? What do you think is a key part of this story and questions yet unanswered?
Well, this is going to be rocket fuel for the story. I can guarantee you that, because there was such a debate in this country and in the political sphere as well as in the media about James Comey's decision not to seek criminal charges, even though he laid out a sort of political indictment about how reckless or negligent Hillary Clinton had been in handling classified information. So a lot of people thought, well, why didn't you go the next step? I know this story's been around for a year, but there's a lot heightened interest now, I think, since the Comey decision, since the drip, drip, drip of new revelations about both emails and the Clinton Foundation, and I think this is starting to take a toll, if the polls are any indication, on Hillary Clinton's popularity. So I do think this is not just another story that's going to go away in 24 hours.
It gives the media something to look through over the holiday weekend. And it's interesting timing, of course, on Friday, a lot of these documents are given out. So I'm going to leave that out.
The Friday afternoon document dump. Yes, indeed.
Yes, we went through this before. You wrote this week about media bias and what you saw with Donald Trump, and specifically in a 24-hour period when he was able to go visit the president of Mexico and then give a speech. I'm curious if you could tell our viewers a little bit about that, what you observed in those 24 hours and what that tells us about the election.
Well, just briefly, because I know you want to get to the debate moderators. You know, when Donald Trump pulled off that surprise visit with the president of Mexico, he was getting some rare praise, even from some of his fiercest critics in the media, that he had handled himself well, that he looked almost statesmanlike on that stage. And then, in a matter of hours, it all turned. I would say, by and large, the press has trashed the fiery, hardline speech he gave in Arizona. And this is in part because you could say, well, there were mixed messages. But I think the underlying factor here, Jenna, is that the mainstream media mindset, by and large, is to favor some kind of at least modest immigration reform. And when Trump seemed to close the door on that, even though he changed his position a little bit on the mass deportations by delaying it, it just brought a lot of the criticism to fore, and it was almost like whiplash. You know, he was getting praise, and suddenly he was getting bashed.
Yeah, interesting. I know you have a lot to talk about on your weekend show, including the debate moderators, and I'm going to have to leave it for Sunday to talk more about it, Howie. But great to have you. Thank you very much. Media Buzz is hosted by Howard Kurtz. It airs Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time right here on the Fox News channel. Certainly a lot of talk about the debate moderators and who was chosen. Leland?